The reigning MVP, Josh Allen, and the Buffalo Bills head out to MetLife Stadium to take on the New York Jets. The Jets had a heartbreaking loss at home against Aaron Rodgers, their former quarterback, the last two seasons in the Pittsburgh Steelers. To start off the breakdown of what this game will look like, we have to talk about the defenses because both defenses, typically the Bills and the Jets, have had good defenses the last couple of seasons. These two teams are very familiar with each other, but neither defense played all that well. The Bills obviously gave up 40 points in their 15-point historical comeback win against Lamar Jackson, the Baltimore Ravens, and the Steelers put up 34 points against the Jets. Let's start off on the Buffalo side of things because they could not do a single thing to stop Derrick Henry, and that bodes very well for Braylon Allen, Breece Hall, Justin Fields, and company. It looks like the Bills very much throughout the night were not able to stop the rushing attack of Lamar Jackson and his dual threat ability, combined with the element of Derrick Henry running pretty much between the tackles for the majority of the night. They were stacking 7, 8, 9 guys in the box and weren't able to do it. Immediately, if I'm Aaron Glenn and I'm trying to formulate what the attack will be as an offense going into this game, it's given Justin Fields 14, 15 carries and then keeping the ball on the ground a total of 45 times, giving Breece Hall 20 carries, giving the ball to Braylon Allen, keeping both of those guys fresh and pounding the darn football because there were holes to be exploited in that bad Buffalo front. We saw 3 runs over 30 yards from Derrick Henry, the most in his career. Now, for the Jets, they very much so struggled to get off the field on third down. It seemed like throughout the day, Pittsburgh went 4 of 10. Statistically, that's not a great percentage, but to the contrary, there were really big moments where Pittsburgh was able to stay on the field. They picked up 2 first downs on one particular drive where Rodgers converted 2 third downs to move the chains. So the Jets need to be better in getting off the field on third down. And what does Josh Allen and that Buffalo offense do well? It's staying on the field. Josh Allen being able to pick it up with his legs. They were 7 of 15 on third down and were able to sustain drives. I believe that they're going to have success against that Jets secondary. Now, for Buffalo, of course, they are so good once they get into the red zone. Their red zone efficiency, because James Cook, Josh Allen, the element of Allen's legs and what he adds in that +1 to any defense that is very tough to be able to handle, to deal with. This means that a guy like Sherwood in the defense for the New York Jets, those linebackers need to play well. They need to fill and hit those gaps and make tackles in open field when they have their opportunities. We saw Josh Allen break a couple of decent chunk runs. He wasn't as mobile as we've seen previously him be in some big games. I mean, he had only 30 yards combined in this game. He had 2 touchdowns, though. We spoke about the red zone ability, but only 30 yards total on the day. Whereas Justin Fields for the New York Jets, he had a ton of success. And I got to say, I think this is one of the best games that Justin Fields has played in his career. He was able to respond every time there was a bit of adversity, even on the final drive. He put the ball about where he needed to Garrett Wilson. Just a very nice play by Jalen Ramsey to knock the ball out. He had 50 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. So both of these quarterbacks are entering this matchup with 2 touchdowns on the season. Week 1, both of them were able to come up with it. The Bills are a 7.5-point favorite because of what we've seen from them in the past, as well as what their quarterback presents as a challenge on a defense, how they threaten you. Also, the development of Keon Coleman from a rookie player and now into what looks to be one of the weapons, the main focal points of Allen getting the ball to, paired up with Dalton Kincaid, who is one of the premier tight ends in the AFC when he is healthy. The health has been a concern for him, but him and Dawson Knox formulate such a tough numbers game for defenses, especially like the Jets, who really like to rotate between their nickel, their dime, and base defensive formations and personnel. And so that's really going to present a different type of style that they're going to want to play defensively. Obviously, they want to attack. Aaron Glenn's going to want to mix up the coverages and attack Josh Allen every time he gets the chance. That means when you have a chance to get your hands on him, you got to go down. Aaron Rodgers and Josh Allen are historically similarly talented quarterbacks. The thing is, Josh Allen's in his prime, Aaron Rodgers well behind it. Those 4 sacks, maybe only 2 of them would have been sacks if that had been Josh Allen in the backfield. A great day from Will McDonald. He had 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss. The Jets had 7 total tackles for loss on the day against Pittsburgh. They were in the backfield often and throughout the game, just were not able to come up with the big plays when they needed to get the Steelers off of the field. We saw a lot of the similar things that we've seen in previous seasons. The Jets doing everything right, getting down the field, being able to respond and get themselves back into that game, right? They were up by 9 points and they see themselves trailing by 5 and they get the lead, but then right away Rodgers is able to respond. That sounds a lot like the Buffalo Bills. And let's talk about that win for a second, because that's what the Jets have to face. A team that is battle tested. They've been battle tested, winning that division every year, over half a decade of winning that division. The Jets are very familiar with that. But Josh Allen in the playoffs has still played well. He hasn't been the reason they've lost, for example, like Lamar Jackson, who hasn't played his best football in the playoffs. We could argue that Josh Allen has played his best in the postseason. It's been the defensive lapses. It's been missed field goal opportunities that have been the reason why they've lost in those big games. So when we talk about Josh Allen versus Justin Fields, this is a clear edge. Now, the talent is quite similar. You would argue that there's not many guys that can go pound for pound, that can go athlete for athlete, arm for arm to Josh Allen. But Justin Fields actually has all of those traits: the big arm, the physicality, the speed to take the edge. He has all of that. What he doesn't have is experience playing in as many big games, experience playing very well at a high level against good defenses, to that matter. Going down the field on that final possession, it felt like give Josh Allen a spot in the top 2 for the MVP trophy already. Maybe even just hand him the darn thing right now, coming up with that win at the end. I thought that the Ravens should have gone for it. They should have gone for it on that 4th and 3, taken their chances on 4th down with Lamar, maybe even handed the ball to Derrick Henry once again, giving him a second chance after that fumble in the 4th quarter. Ravens punt the ball. Josh takes him right down the field. Less than 2 minutes for them to kick the game-winning field goal. Matt Prater puts it in between the uprights. Stylistically, what this game will look like, as far as what the over and under is, right? We're expecting it to be 45.5, so they don't think there's going to be that many points. I believe it's going over that. From what we saw in these two offenses from week 1, both appear to be high-flying, efficient. The Jets looked a lot more in rhythm, on time, going up against that Pittsburgh front, which is ferocious. Obviously, any front with Cam Hayward, TJ Watt, Ramsey, obviously a good player, which he showed later on in that game. Him and Garrett Wilson getting into it a little bit. But I'll say this, the Bills don't have a caliber of secondary of the likes of what the Jets do, or the likes of, I would even say, Pittsburgh. They've got a bunch of very good players. Where they're at their strength is in the front 7. Ed Oliver with one of the incredible performances that you'll ever see from an interior defensive lineman, forced that fumble, had a sack, another tackle for loss in that game. He was fantastic, and immediately, if you're the Jets, you have to make sure that you can shore that up. The tackles are good. I thought that Armand Membu on the right side, Olu Fashanu, except for a one really bad missed block in that late, I believe it was in the 3rd quarter, where he just got beat on the edge on that drive. The name is escaping me first. Yeah, Alex Highsmith beat him off the edge. We were talking about that stat. No sacks given up in college, but Highsmith is able to beat him across there. He set to the outside, and Highsmith crossed his face inside. You cannot allow a defender to ever do that. Just got beat by a savvy veteran with a very nice move. So the Jets, those tackles have to hold up, but I'm a little bit more worried about the interior of that offensive line. On the opposite side, Quinnen Williams, very good game, right? Sack, tackle for loss. He looked like himself, one of the premier interior defensive tackles, interior defensive linemen in this sport. This is going to be a delicious game just to absorb, see how the defenses are changing things, how everybody's matching up as far as the substitutions go. You bring on a wide receiver, we're bringing on a defensive back. You bring on a tight end, we're going to match that with a defensive lineman or a linebacker, going beef for beef, as every single substitution means something as far as a formation goes, trying to get an advantage in the numbers. Sean McDermott continues to show that although he is a defensive coach, that the Bills have a scheme with Josh Allen at quarterback that will always put you in conflict, because he can get out of tricky situations, that he can create space for himself, that he can extend plays, throwing on the run. We saw everything that we've seen in the past from him. As far as the Jets and their weapons, Garrett Wilson, great performance. He had the touchdown, the Ohio State connection. Garrett Wilson and Justin Fields, they rekindled that from a couple of seasons ago. Their run to the semifinal. Of course, they had done such a great job, Justin, obviously, in the national championship game there with the Buckeyes the next season, back-to-back college football playoff appearances. I spoke about big game experience. That was in college, which is my only hesitation in saying that Justin doesn't have as much as Josh, but it's been a number of years since he's been in an environment like that. Obviously, the COVID year where that stadium wasn't quite packed when they played the University of Alabama. A lot of NFL players, though, on that defense. Wasn't like they were playing some pork chops when they got blown out. This is a tough one to predict. I remember saying earlier, right, I think it's going to go over that 45.5 total. I'm thinking somewhere along the lines of a 30-20 final score. I saw enough from the New York Jets that I don't see them being held to under 17, 16 points like that. I believe they can get 2-3 touchdowns in this game and really stress Buffalo, put them in conflict, but Buffalo makes adjustments at halftime. Could see themselves trailing maybe something like 14-13. Score could be 17-10 at the half in Buffalo's favor, where it's close and then they pull away late. So I've got the Bills winning this game 30-20. They cover the 7.5-point spread, but the Jets continue to show that the improvement is there, that they are making the correct strides, just not in what ultimately matters, which is the win and loss column. The loss to Pittsburgh really hurts you because in a winnable game like that, as a new head coach, you're looking to establish a new identity, a team that can win tight games. That has been the clutch, the anchor for the Jets the last couple of years that's brought them down, as they've been there. They've had talent. They've been able to match up. They've got the playmakers in Hall and, of course, Fields now, and Garrett Wilson on the outside, and Sauce Gardner, who will be able to go toe-to-toe with Coleman. He did a great job on Metcalf, completely limiting DK Metcalf in that game. He really didn't have a lot of production when Sauce Gardner was in coverage against him, but just falling up short. That's been the theme and why they haven't won a playoff game in the last 15 years. The makeup of that team has not been clutch. They haven't made the big-time plays in the moments where you need to. So 30-20, that's ultimately what I have as a score. Sean McDermott's squad has shown the last couple of years that they can win those close games. That a game against Baltimore, when it feels like they are down and out, no shot. Their own fans are leaving Orchard Park. They're leaving the stadium, getting on a ride home. 15-point game in the fourth quarter, and they wind up coming back. It was really one of the best football games that you've ever seen. A lot of those have had Josh Allen in them. It's felt like some of them have had him on the losing end, unfortunately. But just a terrific game. Really sets the bar incredibly high. If that's what we see week one, just imagine what we're going to see the rest of this 2025 NFL season. Cannot wait. This should be a great matchup. Excited for it. Please let me know down below in the comments who you think wins this game, what you believe the score will be. Can the Jets get enough offensively, do enough defensively to hold Josh Allen and prove me wrong? I certainly would love to see the Jets continue the success. It would be nice to see them continue to play good football. But then again, Josh Allen is a different type of player. So please subscribe for more content in the future. I appreciate you so much. Look forward to more college football, NFL videos coming out daily. And I will see you next time. Thank you.
Best player in college football.
That Georgia and Ohio State game, New Year's Eve, is going to be a classic.
Josh Blunder. Hi, everybody. I'm Josh Blunder.
To the 40, 35, 30, Espinoza to the 20.